mid-November near Bordertown in the southeast of South Australia, and the durum crop is looking mighty fine.
It does look pretty good at the moment. I'd have to say it looks as good, if not better than last year, so I'm just saying 6 tonne to the hectare, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it might be even a little bit better. Simon Ballinger, a grower at Wolseley, South Australia. We have farming in and around Wolseley on about 6 or 7 different blocks with a little bit of land just in Victoria.
There's a demand for durum in South Australia, in part due to requirements from a large pasta processing plant. But this region of the state hasn't traditionally been seen as a durum growing area. That is changing, and the opportunities have been outlined in a recently completed GRDC investment, unlocking yield potential in durum in the southeast of South Australia.
We've seen an increase in the hectares of durum grown in the area, probably just off the back of the pricing's great compared to bread wheat. I'm Darcy King. I'm an agronomist in Bordertown at Nutrient Ag Solutions in South Australia. Basically look after broadacre crops in the area.
A new variety is producing higher yields and fewer screenings. And importantly, there are a few more tools to fight weeds too.
Probably in the last 3 or 4 years we've just had a couple extra pre-em herbicides available to us, mainly Bixlozone. That is a pre-em herbicide we put out, and yeah, just good control of ryegrass compared to what we had in the kit beforehand, which is, ryegrass is our main issue here that we're contending with, especially in the durum.
Weed control has definitely improved just in the last few years with some options that have allowed us a bit of ryegrass control. Ryegrass is probably our #1 challenge as far as growing crops with resistant ryegrass.
Durum is genetically resistant to stripe rust and septoria tritici, but crown rot can still be an issue.
We've just been out looking at the crop just now, and there is a little, it's pretty hard to guess, but 1 to 2% crown rot damage in there.
It's pretty even heads as well, like there's not much, I don't think there's a massive difference between the biggest and the smallest.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right, yep.
And it hasn't really looked to have burnt off too many of those late tillers, like it's sort of captured every, like even that's going to battle, but
yes,
majority of them have actually ended up coming to something.
Yep.
Which I guess is the nature of the season. Crown rot's biggest issue in the durum. It's it can rob your yield pretty quickly, as we've probably seen just the odd little bit in the paddocks this year after a bit of a high inoculum level left over from last year.
There's a new fungicide seed treatment to inoculate against crown rot. Simon Ballinger advises to use it if in any doubt.
We do a soil test for pathogens in the soil for crown rot each year, and my take-home message is if that is medium or above, then you must apply this fungicide to your seed. If it's low levels, then probably we'll get away with it, but I think it's probably a good insurance to take out.
We've been pretty diligent with our rotation when we're going into durum, like making sure that we've always predict a B test before we put it in, and trying to follow canola or beans.
With the new variety and better weed and disease management, dryland growers are getting around 4 to 6 tonne to the hectare, while irrigated durum yields as much as 10 tonne. Protein levels are important for pasta wheat. Changes in the way growers are being paid by the pasta processor is also making durum more attractive.
In a perfect world, they're aiming for 13% protein. That's a DR1 category it's called. And we struggle to get that. It has happened, but ideally we're aiming for the DR2 market around the 12 to 12.5% protein range. And the SA Durum Growers Association combined with San Remo to have a sliding scale with the protein, so there's not the cliff face drop off in pricing. From DR1 to DR2, there's a sliding scale.
He says trials here in 2024 showed a $400 to $500 a hectare benefit over growing bread wheat.
The bread wheat price has dropped back for APW as a comparison to DR2, so there's probably at the moment, given we contracted earlier in this year, $140 to $50 a tonne premium for the durum over bread wheat, which is a significant amount. And if we can get similar yields, then the durum will end up in front.
Simon Ballinger is a little surprised, given the premiums, there aren't more durum growers in his region. But the requirements to store on farm until the pasture processor needs supply could be a disincentive.